Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of Need I Say Myrrh, the Christmas podcast. And today I am delighted to welcome as our special festive guest, Jim Sayers. Hello, Jim.
Hello, it's lovely to be with you.
Oh, it's good to have you with us. And because this is an audio-only podcast, you will have to describe for us what it is you're wearing today. You've got a very festive outfit on.
Okay, my kids gave me a llama jumper, Christmas jumper. It says La La Llama on it, and I have no idea why. The joke is completely lost on me, but they love llamas. Some of them are wearing crowns, and some of them are wearing Christmas hats, Santa hats. Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Well, maybe instead of trying to explain your jumper, you could explain who you are. Who is Jim Sayers? Where are you? What do you do?
I am the pastor, minister of Grace Church Didcot, which is a church plant in the west of Didcot in South Oxfordshire. I used to work for Grace Baptist Mission as their communications director. Before that, I was a pastor in Kesgrave Baptist Church in Suffolk. I'm married to Helen. Have been for 33 years, and we have three children who claim to be adults, who are respectively in Glasgow and London. So we're well spread about, and they're all turning up for Christmas, God willing. So looking forward to that.
And one of your other hats that you wear is you're the chairman of Praise Trust.
I am indeed.
And that's relevant to Christmas because you last year produced a Christmas praise book. Do you want to do a quick plug for that?
Okay, quick plug for Christmas praise. We hadn't published a book of music for 23 years, so we decided to put together a collection of carols and Christmas songs called Christmas Praise. So you got 71 carols. Some of them, I mean, we'd already published in our collection online on our website, praise.org.uk. They were already in the original hymn book. And we published some since that were just published online. But we went a lot further with this, and we pulled in a whole load of material we hadn't published before. So we've got some really old carols, which we've modernized and given sort of folky arrangements to. And we've got some really sort of up-to-date ones like "O Come All You Unfaithful," and James Young's carol "Heaven Must Sing and Earth Must Join Its Voice," and we've got some new tunes to old ones. Phil Moore has written us a couple of new tunes. We've got some material from Tim Chester and Sovereign Grace, and a whole range of stuff in there. So there's a whole bag of goodies. Some of them are things that you might just want to sing as a group rather than a congregation, like "Mary Did You Know" or "Silently We Watch." Some of these are quite a stretch for a congregation to sing, but for a singing group, they're achievable. And we're putting up lots of stuff on our website about how to get music going in your church if you haven't got a group of musicians. How do you make a start, and how to plan a traditional carol service, how to plan a contemporary carol service, all these sorts of things. So we're discussing lots of things on our website, and you can see those posted under latest news on our homepage. So yeah, there's a lot going on. We hope it's useful to a lot of people.
No, thank you for helping to resource the church, including smaller churches that don't have kind of lots of musicians and lots of high production values, but do want to do something for Christmas to celebrate the birth of Jesus. So let's go on with the questions that I'm asking everyone who comes on this podcast, starting with, what is your favorite festive food?
Well, talking to you, Adam, it kind of has to be a pie almost, doesn't it, really? It was heresy if not a pie. But I am going to say heresy, and it's not a pork pie. I think that when you're preparing for Christmas dinner, one of the big problems is that you've usually got people driving a distance and they don't turn up in time. And so dinner gets delayed and crashes into the King's Speech and that sort of thing. So what you need on hand are Christmas canapes. And so here are two. Can I sort of give you two mini sort of recipes which are really easy to do? Sun-dried tomato and cheddar frittatas are so easy to do. You've just got to get a jar of sun-dried tomatoes, chop them up, some cheddar cheese, and chop that into little cubes. Mix up about 6 eggs with them in a bowl, and chuck in some coriander, and then get a muffin tray. So they're sort of deep, bowls or whatever you call them, deep tins for each muffin, and then pour a little bit of that mixture just to sort of get less than a centimetre in the bottom of each tin, and bake them for about 10 minutes, and you get a wonderful rise on them. And obviously don't forget salt and pepper and seasoning and any other sort of festive spice or whatever you want to add in to give it a bit of zing. And these sort of mini frittatas are just you put them on a plate, and everybody who's waiting for dinner will just wolf them down. One step on from that, get some phyllo pastry, get a standard sort of mince pie tray, so not as deep, and cut your phyllo pastry into squares. Take a square, make the square slightly bigger than the bowls in the tray. Paste each square into the bottom with some oil, and then take another square and just turn it slightly, so you've made an 8-pointed star sort of thing. And so there's your lining, and on top of that you put a mixture of, well, you could use yet more sun-dried tomatoes, or you could use cherry tomatoes and just slice them in half, and what Bob Mortimer would call feta cheese. You've got to get some feta cheese and chop that up small, and then make a mix like for a quiche. So mix up some egg and some cream, and stick some herbs in it, and pour that over the top, and again bake that for about 10 minutes, and you just get a wonderful, it's part crispy, it's better than a quiche because it doesn't have loads of crumbly base to it, and it doesn't get a soggy bottom. And again, I've never seen any of those get left.
Yeah, those both sound delicious. Are you planning Praise Trust to produce a book of recipes for next year? It sounds like you've got quite a few you can include. That's great. Okay, let's go on to music. And I'm interested in knowing your favourite non-religious Christmas song.
Well, it's weird, isn't it? The music industry, from sort of Bing Crosby to Michael Bublé, has just dished us up so much trash. I mean, my favourite song is not I Saw Mummy Kissing Santa Claus, and Dolly Parton's got some fairly awful ones as well, and I'm not a huge fan of Mr. Bublé. My favourite song goes back to a school experience. Okay, so we had a school senior citizens Christmas party in Dorking, where I went to school, and they invited in all the senior cits to fill the school hall, and they put the second years in charge of welcoming them all in as ushers, and they sat them down for a tea. The cabaret was, well, I was included in the cabaret, so some of us from sixth form were put on stage, and we had to sing songs like Walking in a Winter Wonderland, which I think I can do from memory, but the weird song, and it's my choice, was When a Child is Born, which is not explicitly Christian, and the lyrics are very sort of vague. What is the significance of this child being born? You know, now the laugh of it is that I grew up in a gospel standard strict Baptist family who didn't listen to anything except Radio 4 and Radio 3, and certain records were not particularly encouraged on our record player back in the 1970s. So I had never heard Johnny Mathis sing this when I got picked to sing it. And so I had no idea how it went. And the history teacher said that the curtains opened and James bawled when a child is born. And it is actually a wonderful song. It's very moody. And if it comes on again, I'm singing along to it. It's got great lyrics, you know, all across the land. The dawn's a bright new dawn. This comes to pass when a child is born. And so it goes on, you know, and then somebody stands up in the middle and spouts a whole load of words. And a girl who went on to be a novelist stood up and did that. For me, it's just, you know, it just brings back memories of having to perform something really badly. I'd love to go back and do it again. But also it kind of raises this question: why did people love it? Why did it go straight to number one in 1976? Why has it been sung ever since? I think it is because even if you don't believe in Jesus, you are longing for a new beginning. You know, we long for a ray of hope flickering in the sky. And there is that hunger for something new, which, of course, is the very heart of what Christianity is all about. So, there you go.
I will ask you a question at this point that no other guest on this podcast is being asked, which is the question of what is your favourite religious Christmas song, your favourite carol?
Favorite carol, and that is really hard. It's really, really hard because I mean there are so many bangers. Every carol service has got to have a "Come All Ye Faithful," "Hark the Herald," "Once in Royal." So I can tell you what, I'm going to have a surprise choice.
Okay.
Come, O Long Expected Jesus.
Okay.
All right. Now the reason for that is we normally sing it to the tune "Come, O Long Expected Jesus," and it sounds like, you know, a little mouse walking up and down the piano, plonk, 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 and it's fairly boring, isn't it? Really. So in Christmas Praise, plug, plug, we have discovered a wonderful Canadian tune. So there's this group called the Fehr family, F-E-H-R, and they've written their own tune to "Come, O Long Expected Jesus." And I think it's fantastic. Come, O long expected Jesus, born to set your people free. It's got that sort of folky feel to it, and a great banger of a chorus. They've taken the best lines and put them into a chorus. It's unrecognizable from the old plonky plonky one that we're used to singing in the Sunday service that probably falls on the Sunday morning before the carol service, you know, because nobody wanted to sing it in the carol service. And this is one that I really think has just had a, you know how Before the Throne of God Above got a new lease of life. This is a tune like that, and I'm really impressed with it.
Well, there you go. Maybe you have some listeners who'll try that out this year. Let's come to the next question. What is your least favourite Christmas decoration?
Oh, the thing that really winds me up is what the llamas on my jumper are wearing. Santa hats. Santa hats look really stupid. And if you're trying to preach in a carol service and half the service have got Santa hats on, you know, I mean, I can get away with one or two. I can cope with one or two, but if someone's at the door handing them out, no, please not.
Okay.
They just don't. They always look cheap, and they remind me of sort of children in need gone wrong sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, so if you are part of Grace Church Didcot, please wear a Santa hat to every service between now and next Christmas. Final question, coming back to the heart of Christmas for us as Christians. Who is your favourite person in the Nativity account, not including Jesus?
Well, I was going to say that's an important qualifier, isn't it?
Yes.
I think for that reason, therefore, I'm going to go a bit left field and choose Zachariah, partly because I think it's so fascinating that he doesn't believe God. He's slow to believe. And when the angel tells him that his wife, after all these years in her old age, is going to have a son who'll be the final prophet of the Old Testament, he doesn't believe it and says, how can it happen? And the angel mutes him, and he's muted for several months, until the moment when John is born, and then he's unmuted, and then all this prophecy sort of pours out. And actually, it's very interesting in Luke's gospel that the Zachariah's song at the end of Luke chapter 1 is kind of the hinge on which it all turns. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but in Luke's gospel, the big theme is redemption. It's all about people who are outcasts, people who are, you know, at the bottom of the pile, who are oppressed, who are hopeless, who you know, and lots of the parables about people like the man who's beaten up and rescued by the Good Samaritan, and the prodigal son, and the lost sheep, and so on. And right at the heart of it, of the nativity story, is Zachariah saying, you know, God has come to redeem his people. This is the moment when redemption happens. And it's a wonderful moment. And if you like, when you then sort of turn into chapter 2 and you read about them traveling to Bethlehem and so on, and it all feels rather prosaic, that's because Zachariah just told us what it's all about. He's given us this wonderful, you know, description of what God is doing, and how John the Baptist his son is going to point to Jesus, and so on. So yeah, that's for me what it's all about. And so if you have to pick one character, there are some other rivals, aren't there? Herod's interesting.
Yes. Yeah, still waiting for someone to say Herod is their favourite, but that's a helpful reflection. Thank you, Jim. That's a good place to finish our conversation for today. So thank you for joining us, and we hope that you have a very happy La 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 Llama Christmas.
And you, Adam, have a great Christmas yourself. I hope it fills you with hope and joy, and you get some rest.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!